the magic of Hans Zimmer. Go! In case you didn't know, BMW does make fully electric sedans, and this is the BMW i4 eDrive35, which has been updated for 2025. Refreshed looks and tweaked range, apparently up to 500 km on a single charge. But this is the entry-level variant since this is the eDrive35. Is it any good? That's why we're here to find out. Continue watching to find out more. So what's new for 2025? Firstly, the wheels. They are upgraded from 18-inch to 19 wheels, and these are staggered. The tires at the back actually wider, and you also get this massive grille. You get these diamond patterns over here which can feel. Personally, I prefer the older looks. The all black design actually looks more understated. It feels more cleaner than this. And you know what? If BMW wants to make a statement, why not add the iconic glow? I think having this illuminated gives it a more aggressive stance at night, and that looks pretty cool, like the iX2 and the i5. I think this is a missed opportunity. And the next thing I want to talk about is the headlights. So they've refreshed this for 2025. So instead of that circular halo lights you get on the previous version, now you get these LED DRLs with the vertical slants, quite similar to the iX2 and the i5. And these are the new BMW LEDs, which are pretty good at night. As you turn through the corners, you can actually illuminate the direction that you're heading, which is very cool. And the coolest thing at the back is this new BMW laser lights. And you can even see labels over here. Class 1 laser product. Oh, there's another one over here. Class 1 laser product. And these lights look stunning at light. This is the biggest highlight of the new update. And it's the same rear lights that you get on the BMW M4 CSL. And let's talk about the hard figures. So this is the entry-level i4, the eDrive35. It gets a single motor powering the rear wheels that's rated for 282 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 takes 6 seconds. It's all ready. All right, so 3, 2, 1, go! Up to a top speed of 195 km per hour. This EV being the entry-level variant, it has a smaller battery. On paper, this has 70.4 kilowatt hours, but usable of 67 kilowatt hour. Yeah, that's quite small for this kind of sedan standards. If you want more range, there's the BMW i4 eDrive40 or the M50 that gets a larger 80 kilowatt hour pack. But for this one, yeah, that's all you can get. 67 kilowatt hour usable, and on paper, it's a WLTP rated range of 500 kilometers. Is it true? I'm gonna explain a bit more further. The i4 may be a Grand Coupe, but the boot doesn't open like the traditional sedan boot because it has a liftback design. As you can see, the whole thing, including rear glass, opens up like a hatchback, making this very practical. Just look at the wide opening over here, and it's about 470 liters of space, including the underfloor storage, which is a pretty good touch. So in terms of practicality for the boot, thumbs up. Alright, so in the back seat of the BMW i4, and I would say that this only suitable for 2 adults for short trips because number one, it's actually quite small. But despite the sloping roofline, I still have this amount of headroom. I'm 180 cm tall, and this seat has been adjusted to my position, and I have this amount of headroom, which is actually pretty okay. Legroom wise, is okay, but I don't have much under thigh support. You can see right here, there's a huge gap over here because the floor is a bit too high due to the batteries, and this thing really hurts my leg in the long run because these are just hard plastic. And there's one thing that's interesting though, there's not much storage bins over here. There's no storage behind here. You have a small bottle holder, and that's pretty much it. But at least you have rear aircon vents with control and 2 USB-C ports. If you want something bigger, the Tesla Model 3 BYD Seal is definitely more spacious for passengers at the back. This one, yeah, is mostly for 2 adults for short trips. And moving to the front seat, well, this is a very driver-oriented cabin. As you can see, you have this nice steering wheel that's big and chunky. Actually, if you look at the buttons here, right, this is actually from the previous generation of BMWs, which is a good thing because you have physical control buttons, individual buttons for everything, for volume control, media playback, and also for adaptive cruise control because this has the driver assistance pack, and you have dedicated buttons to adjust the distance. You don't get this anymore on the new iX1, iX2 and i5, so they still retain these buttons, which is something that we like. And for this 2025 version, you get flat bottom steering wheel because previous one is not. Everything just feels very tactile. And of course, one thing that's lacking is that you don't have the boost button, but not really a problem because all the crucial features are just at your fingertips. If you look at the center console, you have all the buttons laid out logically. So below the start-stop button, you have dedicated buttons for Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro. This is so intuitive. It's so much better than the newer BMW EVs where you need to press My Modes and then swipe through the screen to change between Eco and Sports. Large rotary button to navigate around the screen, which is pretty nice, and these physical buttons allow you to drive with less distractions. Like for example, if I want Spotify, I just press the top left button over here, it should bring up Spotify. If I want my Waze, I just push the top right button and that should bring me to Waze. And if I want a home, just press the middle button and brings me to home. See? So easy, right? We should do this on more cars. Give us more physical buttons, please. And the gear selector has been replaced with this stubby kind of switch, so it's similar to the iX1 and iX2. To bring it to drive, just flick it down, and if you want one pedal driving, just flick it down one more time to bring it to B, and that gives you one pedal driving for maximum regen. It's so easy. I wish more car makers do this. I said a lot of things I like about the physical controls. You also have dedicated buttons for the media like volume and changing tracks, but the aircon, well, you need to use a touchscreen over here, so you can adjust the temperature over here. Press this to adjust the various modes. And the thing I don't like is the aircon vents. Look at this. You have this joystick style controller which can twist open and close, and the vents looks pretty small. This doesn't look premium at all. I mean, what's wrong with the traditional aircon vents? When it comes to storage, well, it's quite limited. After all, this is not an EV dedicated platform. And you can see over here for the underarm storage, well, it's actually quite shallow. You have one USB-C ports, and over here it reveals 2 cup holders, a wireless charger, one 12-volt socket, and USB-A port. Hello, it's 2025. Why give us USB-A port? And you have this massive transmission tunnel with no storage in between. So it's not as spacious, as practical as other EV sedans like the BYD Seal or the Tesla Model 3. Heck, even the iX1 and iX2 has more storage than this. Well, after all, this is an older platform. Oh yeah, you also have a glove box. Yeah, it's just there, and you have space for one bottle on the sides. So overall, it's quite a cozy cabin, but in terms of practicality, well, there are better options out there. And right in front of me is a huge curved display panel, which consists of a 14.9-inch infotainment display that supports wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, and also a 12.3-inch instrument cluster, very similar to what you get on the BMW i5. And right in front of me is a heads-up display, which is very clear. And with the latest Waze update, you can also now show the direction maps on the instrument cluster. But if you use Android Auto, you can get the turn-by-turn directions on the head-up display. So how is it like to drive? Well, for me, I would say that this feels like a very conventional ICE car. First things first is that you have all the physical controls, the signal stocks over here, the gear selectors over here, even changing the drive modes like Eco Pro, Comfort and Sports are dedicated button. So you can just drive it normally and adjust everything just by feeling it, which is something I really like from a car that's designed for drivers. The suspension is on the firm side, which is to be expected from a coupe shape like this. It's just nice, and in terms of low speed driving, it's a bit firm but not too uncomfortable. Obviously a huge contrast to the overly soft-sprung BYD Seal. Yep, I'm gonna make a lot of comparison with other sedans, but overall, this is a more sporty-oriented car. You can definitely feel the weight, but around the corners, it still feels very confident. This car is really fun to drive. And with this 282 horsepower and powering the rear motors, I would say that it's more than enough. I've had a lot of fun with this car. I drove this up to Penang on the weekend, and I really enjoyed driving this car. And it's a car that loves to be driven at a very enthusiastic speed. The one thing I like about BMW is the seats. You have these sporty bucket-like seats, and you have this extendable under thigh support, which is what I love about BMW. They got the sitting position spot on, and you can even adjust the bolster seats over here and just adjust the switch on the bottom section here, and you can adjust how much you want it to hug you. It's a really sporty feeling car. And these seats, it has a mixture of like microfiber and some, I think, nylon polyester material in the middle here. It's a kind of like canvas material which is said to be recycled materials, which is okay. I just wish it has ventilated seats. And for long distance drive, I feel that it could do a bit more cushion, because after 5 hours sitting here, my butt's a bit sore. So a little bit padding would have made this seat more comfortable. And when it comes to efficiency, well, when I drove to Penang, I did efficiency of 16.8 kilowatt hour per 100 km, which is quite impressive based on the speed I'm driving. Well, I'm not going to say how fast I drive, but if you look at the stats, I did an average speed of 98 kilometers per hour. Well, for those you know, you know. And with this efficiency, I'll say that in terms of efficiency, this car is going to be very hard to get 500 kilometers. I think it's impossible to get 500 kilometers, because based on my driving style and my driving habits, I would say that the realistic figure should be 400. And that's to be expected, because this EV has a smaller battery. Unlike the Seal or the Tesla Model 3, which has bigger batteries, this one only has about 70 kilowatt hour, not so much, and the usable battery capacity is only 67 kilowatt hour. But having driven this car at very good highway speeds with the efficiency of 16.8 kilowatt hour per 100 km is actually pretty good. However, I think the issue here is at low speeds. When driving at low speeds, it doesn't seem to be as efficient as the rest, because during my city driving, during rush hour, I typically get maybe about 11, 12, 13 kilowatt hour per 100 km in a normal day-to-day traffic at low speeds. But on this car, the best I got is like 13.8 kilowatt hour, and on average I get about 15 kilowatt hour per 100 km. So at driving at low speeds, it's not quite a frugal drive. As I mentioned earlier, it uses the old buttons for the steering wheel, which is a good thing, because I appreciate the fact that it retains the dedicated buttons to adjust the distance for a dedicated cruise control. So you want to widen the gap, you just press the button. You want to narrow the gap, you just press the other button as well. So this is something you don't get on the latest generation of BMW EVs like the iX1, iX2 and even the i5. So please BMW, bring this back for the newer models. And in terms of ADAS, I will happy report that this is less intrusive. Actually not intrusive at all, because as far as I drive this car, I don't get any bings and bongs, except for if I drive too close to the car in front of me. When it crosses through the lanes, there's no warning sounds like you get on the Tesla Model 3 or the BYD Seal, which can be overbearing. And this is a very relaxing car to drive. If let's say I accidentally drive off the lane, it just gives me a subtle vibration on the steering wheel to let me know that, hey, move to the center. And that's pretty much it. So no annoying sounds. Which is something that I really like about this car. And one thing that's missing here is lane centering assist. It has adaptive cruise control with stop and go function, but it doesn't have the auto steer function. So you need to adjust the steering wheel 100% on your own. Come on BMW, this is a 315,000 ringgit car. Even your cheaper BMW iX2 has the full ADAS features with lane centering assist. Another thing missing is that you don't get the boost pedal like you get on the newer BMW EVs. But not a problem, because you can always push the sports button and floor the accelerator. The claimed 500 km range on a single charge, well, it's actually quite impossible. I think realistically you should be looking at most 400 kilometers, and if you're heavy-footed, you should be looking at about 350 to 380. But is it really a problem for a long distance drive? Not really. As we proven from our EV road trip, we managed to drive from KL to Bukit Mertajam, had lunch and then go to Georgetown on a single charge, and we arrived at a hotel with 9% battery remaining. So it is possible to drive long distance with this car. Personally, I do not drive non-stop for 5 hours. I always make a toilet break. So in those toilet stops, I can easily charge for 10-15 minutes to give enough range, and that's what we did on the way back. So when I left Georgetown at about 80% battery remaining, I went to Gunung Semanggol for about 10 minutes of top up. So I managed to top up to 77% battery remaining, and that's more than enough to get home. So is it really a problem for long distance drive? For me, the answer is no. It depends on how you drive, and just add a charging top up along the way, because you're definitely going to stop for a toilet or for coffee break. Just use that time to top up your car. When it comes to charging, well, there's nothing much to shout about. After all, this is a 400 volt based EV. So for AC, it has a 3-phase onboard charger that supports up to 11 kilowatts. A full charge takes about 6 to 7 hours, pretty standard. But if you have charger at home, no problem, you can do it overnight. If you have a home charger, you can just go outside and charge maybe twice a week for about 2 hours, not really an issue. And for DC charging, this EV supports up to 180 kilowatts. But so far, from my experience, I'm only getting maximum of 120 kilowatts. So on paper, BMW claims I can get from 10 to 80% charge in about 30 plus minutes. From my experience, I get about 40 minutes. That's because I cannot achieve that peak 180 kilowatt charge. Maybe I need to precondition the battery before I arrive at the DC charging station, but typically most EVs I've driven, I don't need to precondition unless it's a Tesla going to a Tesla supercharger. And one thing that I really like about BMW is the My BMW app. This app is one of the best. I would say it's better than what you get from Tesla as well as BYD. Besides having the option to set up as a digital key and adjust the car remotely, like locking, unlock, and also turn on the aircon remotely, you also get a detailed trip history as well as statistics. For example, you can view the statistics for the entire month. We can show you the total distance travel, average of distance per day, how much time you travel, average speed, but also the individual trip history as well. And if you tap on a specific trip, it not only tells you the distance and duration, but also the actual consumption, including the actual energy consumed, including the speed. If you scroll down, it even provides you with a map similar to what you get from Uber, including the state of charge when you start, when you top up, or when you arrive. The same goes for charging as well. It also can provide you statistics of how much you charge in a month or per day, including the information for the last session. You also can view the DC charging curve. This is really cool, especially for data nerds. And check that out. It even says that my consumption of 16 kilowatt hour per 100 km is actually 6% lower than the community average. So that shows that I'm actually more efficient than the average BMW i4 driver. So is the BMW i4 eDrive35 any good? Well, it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for an electric sedan that can carry 4 to 5 passengers comfortably, well, sad to say that the BYD Seal and the Tesla Model 3 are more practical options because the back has more space than this i4. And those two EVs can give you more range because of the bigger batteries. You can comfortably get close to 500 kilometers on a single charge. And on top of that, the BYD Seal and the Tesla Model 3, they're also more aerodynamic, so that improves efficiency because those two have a drag coefficient of 0.22 CD. The i4 has a drag coefficient of 0.24 CD, which is not bad, but not as good as the other two. If you're looking for outright efficiency, long range, and fast charging, my pick is still the Hyundai Ioniq 6 Max rear-wheel drive. That EV is based on an Android Volt architecture, so it can support DC fast charging from 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes. And that EV can deliver up to 575 kilometers of range, and this I've tested it from Taiping to JB on a single charge. And also the EV is so easy to drive efficiently because it has a lower drag coefficient of just 0.21 CD, and that's very good. If you want supercar performance, you can't ignore the Tesla Model 3 performance. That superb sedan has 460 horsepower and can do 0 to 100 km per hour in like 3.1 seconds, and that's insane. And even if you spec everything up, including the ultra red color, the white seats, and even full self-driving capability, that costs less than 300,000 ringgit. So that's value for money compared to the i4 eDrive, which is essentially an entry-level variant of the i4 family. As I said before, and based on our own actual real-world test, you should expect about 350 to 400 km range on a single charge from the BMW i4 eDrive35. The 500 km WLTP, I think that's impossible to achieve unless you drive, I don't know, less than 50 km per hour. It's actually very hard to drive this efficiently less than 13 kWh per 100 km. But is it a deal breaker? Not really, because with 350 to 400 km range, you can get there on a single charge, as we've proven from a trip from KL to Penang. I think from KL to Penang, KL JB, not a problem. And realistically, when you drive long distance, you're gonna make a stop. So for me, my personal habit is to stop halfway while I go for a toilet coffee break and just do a quick top up. 10-15 minutes is all it takes to add that additional percentage to reach your destination very comfortably. So can you do long distance? Certainly you can. Can you have a lot of fun with it? Sure, why not? Just make sure that you know how to plan your trip properly, and this car will serve you well. But here's the tough part about the BMW i4, because if you're looking for something more practical, I think the BMW iX2 offers better value because that SUV is better equipped, has more space, and is actually more practical. On top of that, it's also cheaper. The iX2 costs less than 300,000 ringgit, and this one with the extended warranty costs 315,000 ringgit. And to make matters worse, if you look at the spec sheet, the iX2 comes with Harman Kardon speakers. It has the cruise control with lane centering assist, but for this one, you had to make do with the standard cruise control with no auto steer, and this has normal 6 speakers, not as fully spec as the iX2, which is actually cheaper, more spacious, and more practical. And if you want a BMW sedan with more practicality and more space, you need to step out to the i5. It costs about 400,000 ringgit. Not only is bigger, you also get rear air suspension at the back and rear active steering, and that car is a very nice car to drive long distance, and it's a very comfortable highway cruiser. So if you want a proper sedan to carry passengers, step out to the i5. And here's how I'm going to conclude this review. The BMW i4 is not just an EV, it's a proper BMW 4 Series Grand Coupe that so happens to be electric, because it feels like you're driving an actual car, not like a computer on wheels, because when you drive it, you feel like you're in control. You have tactile buttons, you don't have just bing and bong sounds that you get on most typical EVs. So this car is really driver focused. And if that's something what you want, then this car could be it for you. So if you want an electric BMW 4 Series with 4 doors with the instant torque of an electric motor, well, there's nothing like it. And on top of that, there's so many BYD Seals and Tesla Model 3s on the road today, so if you get an i4, you'll definitely stand out. This is a rare sight on the road. So there you have it, our review of the BMW i4 eDrive35 for 2025. We get this over other electric sedans, or you go for the BMW iX2, which offers more practicality. Let us know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, like us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe us on YouTube channel. Just subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so that you'll be informed of our future videos. This is Alex from soyachincha.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye!